Welcome to our class. How are you today? I hope that you're doing fine right now. For today's class, I will be discussing to you the probability of simple events. Just watch this. Probability of simple events. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to find the probability of a simple event. Essential question. How do you find the probability of a simple event? Now let's take this example. EMC Cell Phone World is having an iPod giveaway. They put all the iPod shuffles in a bag. Customers may choose an iPod without looking at the color. Inside the bag are 4 orange, 5 blue, 6 green, and 5 pink iPods. If Maria Holmes chooses one iPad at random, what is the probability she will choose an orange iPod? Alright, the probability she will choose an orange iPod is 1/5 or 20%. So we have here, as you can see there, below, we have 4/20 or 4 out of 20, and then it was being reduced until we came up 1/5 or 20%. Now my question, how did we get 1/5 or 20%? Now, before we will go to the solutions, let's find out what is probability. Now, what is probability? Probability is the chance that some event will happen. And it is the ratio of the number of ways a certain event can occur to the number of possible outcomes. So to solve for the probability of simple events, so we will write capital P here, and then meaning to say it is probability with the word event, which is enclosed with parentheses, equals the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. Ooh. Now here are the examples that use probability. Number 1, we have the dice, the spinners, coins, the deck of cards, the even and odds, the alphabet, and so many other. The probability of an event is the likelihood of its occurring. Thus, we may use some common words to describe likelihood. Alright, so just take note that the sum of the probability of all possible outcomes must equal to 1 or 100%. As you can see, we start from 0% and it ends to 100%. Alright, so 0 here describes as the impossible event, and we also have closer to 0, which is the 25% of the probability is what we call that one, what we describe that one as not very or very unlikely, and the 50% of the probability, we call that one as equally likely. So, and also we have the 75%, we call that one as likely or somewhat or closer to a certain. And the 100% here, or 1, we describe that as certain. Certain, yes, okay. Alright, now let's go back to our first example, or the real world example. So it's about the iPod giveaway. Now the question is, what is the probability she will choose an orange iPod? So applying what we discussed, the probability event, which is the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. Okay, so the number of favorable outcomes, which is the orange. How many orange? So there are 4 orange iPad. And then over how many possible outcomes? Possible outcomes or the total event. So we have 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5. It is over 20. So we have now the probability of an orange iPad, which is 4 out of 20. Okay, 4 orange out of 20 iPads. Or, so if we are going to reduce that one into percent, we have 20% or 1/5. Alright, now are you ready for your activity? That's good. Okay, so I will give you more examples in solving probability of simple events. So, just continue watching. Now, let's have an example. Example number 1, let's rule a die. Do you know what is a die? How many faces does it have? Yes, there are 6 faces. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there are 6 faces. Now the question is, what is the probability of ruling a 4? 4. Now to solve for the probability event, so of course we will write a probability event. So what is the event? It is ruling a 4. Okay, so we will write the number of favorable outcomes over the possible outcomes. Now what is the favorable outcomes? I mean the number of favorable outcomes. So of course, the number of favorable outcomes is 1. So how did we get 1? How do we know that it is 1? So of course, in a die, so since there are 6 faces and each faces has a number, we have the first, we have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since we are looking for the probability of 4, and it has only 1 4, this one, the 1 4 in a die, so therefore our favorable outcomes is 1. And how about the possible outcomes? The possible outcomes is 6. Oh, 6 it is because the total number of faces of a die are 6. So let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 1 over 6. Yeah. Now let's have example number 2. The spinners. What is the probability of spinning green? Now in finding the probability of green, the spinning the green, so of course we will follow the formula. Event equals the number of favorable outcomes over the possible outcomes. So the number of favorable outcomes, so since we are asking green, the color green, as you can see, this round here, the spinners here, we only have 1 green, right? And how many possible outcomes or how many colors, the total of colors here. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4. So of course, the probability of spinning green is 1 over 4, or the probability of spinning green is 1 out of 4, or 25% of the spinners. Now we have the last example. Okay, so we have deck of cards. Okay, I know you're very familiar in this. Okay, now we are asked, what is the probability of picking a heart? Okay, now as you can see here, so there are 4 types of you call this one 4 types of a card. So we have heart, the spade, clubs, and diamond. Okay, so to solve for that, of course, we have the probability of heart, the number of favorable outcomes, which is 13, over the possible outcomes, which is 52. Okay, now where did we get 13 and 52? Okay, so we have 13, of course, since we have 13 hearts in a cards. Okay, so if we are going to look at our cards, we have ace heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then jack heart, king heart, and queen heart. So there are 13, and then 52 because the total number of cards in a deck is 52. And the final answer is 1/4. Of course, 1/4, if we are going to simplify this fraction 13 over 52, then we get 1/4. Or you can have simply look at this picture. You have only 1 heart in 4 types of card. As simple as that. Alright, below we are asked to find the probability of a non-heart. So it is very easy, right? So as we go back to the picture here, so since we have only 4 types of cards, and we choose the non-hearts, so of course 4 types of cards, hearts, and we only have 1 hearts, so the non-hearts there is 3. Okay, so we have the favorable outcomes is 3, and the possible outcomes is 4. Okay, so we have here 3 non-hearts out of 4 types of cards. Okay, so we have the K concepts. Always remember that the probability is the chance that some event will happen, and it is the probability of simple events. It is the ratio of the number of ways a certain event can occur to the total number of possible outcomes. Now here comes the guided practice. Calculate the probability of each independent event. Okay, number 1, we have the probability of a black. Okay, so I will give you 5 seconds to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is the answer? It is 4 over 8. Okay, so why is it 4 over 8? So as you can see here, there are 8. Okay, so why is it 8? So there are 8 parts of a circle, and then out of 8, there are only 4 blacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4 blacks. So we have 4 over 8, or what do you call this one? 1/2. Now what about P1? So probability of 1, of course, we only have 1 out of 8. For the odd numbers, we have 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 7. So still it is 1/2. And the prime numbers. So what is the prime numbers? Do you know what is prime number? Okay, so 1/2, still 1/2. We have 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay. Now let's practice. So calculate the probability for your test. Calculate the probability of each independent event. Okay, so the probability of red. What about the probability of 2? Probability of not red. And number 4, the probability of even. So you will be given, so in actual class, you will be given 5 minutes to do that task. So it's very easy. Alright, so that's all for this evening. Thank you for watching. And if you have some questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. So just beep me on my messenger. Okay, so bye-bye for now.